Hello, everyone. Welcome to the March 1st edition of my YouTube channel. I didn't really do much trading today. I was busy. I was off today. So I was busy running errands. The only thing I did do was I had SPY calls and Tesla calls overnight in my paper trade account. One worked out well, one didn't. So let's see what we have here. My Delta credit spread closed for about 30% of max profit. Um, so I ended up buying that back, closed that out. Micron was doing much better yesterday, and today it's going the wrong way for me. I needed to go down, but as long as it closes before below $42 by March 15th, we're good. So I have some time. New beverage, yeah, no real change on that. SPY, I had two calls. I had paid $1.79. I sold one at $2.80 and one at $2.92 for a real nice profit. Without calculating it, I'd say it's probably close to 70%. Um, Tesla, yeah. Um, Bought a paper call yesterday. I think I paid about 550 for it. Um, One call had $550 in it. Um, Things didn't go too well overnight. And Tesla's, I don't think I would ever hold Tesla. At least not with the experience I have with it. I wouldn't hold Tesla overnight in real money. It's just too volatile and too many unknowns. But anyway, I added to it today. You see, I bought two more calls here at 83 cents, two more at 70 cents. So I'm in this for, I don't know, probably around $800 now total. My average is 174. I have five of them, so yeah, I'm in it for $870. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's Tesla; anything can happen. It could go up to $350 Monday, so who knows? That's all I've done today. Didn't make any real money trades. You see, my Micron closed at 30 cents. Actually, it was 41 cents. It closed at 41. Um, I forget what I paid for it. Would have been around 60 because I try to take about 30% of max profit. Usually, you can get those. You can get 30% of max profit within a day or two. Usually, if you play them right. Um, but that leads me to something else. I mentioned before about some mentors and some chat rooms that I've been in. I actually talked to uh, the guys that run the chat service that I'm in right now, and I asked them if it would be okay if I mentioned their names in the chat room and that I belong to, and then they both said it'd be a good idea, and they have no problems with it. Um, I'm one of there's some super great traders in there. I've had pretty good success, so I think they trust me with it. But anyway, that when I started out 2013, I found a guy named Jeff Williams, and I started trading penny stocks with him. Um, Stayed with him for I think it was about 6 months, and I found options. Decided I wanted to trade options, so I left his service. Um, Went to a couple different services. I've tried a few other ones, um, but none of them had the education that Jeff had. So when I started back up again about a year ago, I went found Jeff Williams again. Um, he partnered up with a guy named Davis Martin, and they have what's called the Traders Council. The Traders Council, there's a lot of education. There's some great moderators. One of the moderators in there specializes in these credit spreads, and that's why I've played these. All these credit spreads I've played were plays that he has done himself with his real money account. I don't know that he's still in the Micron trade. He may have got out of it, but I've that's the only one that I'm down on. I've made money on all the rest of them. So and he had mentioned that he has a 100% success rate with his credit spreads. So um, Davis Martin specializes in options, mainly in SPY. Um, Jeff Williams specializes in lower price stocks, penny stocks. Jeff is uh, Jeff is a great teacher. In fact, he had a teaching background. Uh, Davis Davis is very good with support and resistance. Every morning you get an email with his trade of the day, and it lists out support and resistance levels, and they're very good. Um, so that's pretty much who I'm in with right now. That's the only chat room I'm in. The only service I'm in. I have it up on my other screen. There's some great moderators in there. We have one that specializes just in options, does very good. One that specializes in credit spreads. He also does some option spread or option trades, regular options. There's a couple guys that um, mainly deal in lower to mid cap stocks up to maybe the $15-20 range. There's a couple moderators that specialize in the subbies, the 0.001 cent stocks, but they all do a great job. I've been in, I'm going to say, I've probably been a member of about 5 or 6 different chat rooms in my career, and this by far is the best. In fact, they offered a lifetime membership for current members a while back, and a lot of people jumped on that. Um, so yeah, if you're looking for some mentor service, check out the Traders Council. Definitely worth it. I highly recommend it. So on to the trading. See my paper trade account? Yeah, it's down today. It's down $100, which isn't bad considering that Tesla's down $240. That SPY trade helped offset that. Here's the Tesla chart. Not looking real pretty. I was looking at the daily chart yesterday, and it actually looked pretty good, which is why I went into the calls. See the daily chart yesterday, we closed just above the 100 and 200 simple moving averages. Granted, it was near the top of the Bollinger Bands, but we just broke over 2 major moving average lines. I kind of thought we'd get some continuation today, at least up to the 324 mark, and I think it was trading around 316, 315 or 316 when I bought it. So I thought that we would get some continuation, but that didn't happen. Let's take a look at SPY here. I really haven't looked at the SPY chart much today because, like I said, I've been out. I just got back in. I did watch charts till about a little after 10 o'clock this morning, and then I left and just sat down here about 15 minutes ago. So you're kind of looking at it for the first time with me here, or I'm looking at it for the first time with you here. You see, SPY overnight did very good. Was up quite a bit. I think it was up over 100 and some points. You see, we broke our pre-market highs at the open here, or actually right before the open. Here was our pre-market high. We popped up above that. Didn't really see any resistance here that would cause it to pause or cause it to come back down. I think somebody had mentioned that there was some news that came out, some numbers came out or something, consumer index or something that didn't quite meet expectations. But see right here, we had I talked the other day about longer wicks. You see we have a long wick here with a red candle. No significant meaning to that candle other than its loss of momentum. It's not quite a doji. It's not it's nothing as far as a candle goes. This one here is a doji, and it looks like it was the low is 280.74 and it closed at 280.76. So that's called a gravestone doji. A gravestone doji is will close. Or I'm sorry, it's not a gravestone. That is a yeah, it is a gravestone. Gravestone doji will open and close at the low of the candle at the top of a trend. So this is actually a gravestone doji. As the sound implies, it's not very good. Why do they call it gravestone? I don't know. I don't have that marked over here to be highlighted, but I'm sure if I did, it would probably show up. I'm not even seeing it listed here as being an option. But anyway, you see the next candle was red, or I'm sorry, it was green, but look what happened here. And I think that's about when the news came out. We were already starting to lose momentum here because we had a nice run, and then the news came out at 10 o'clock, and yeah, it got ugly real quick. We lost most of the pre-market gains. I don't think we quite made it down. We didn't make it quite down to yesterday's close, but we did get close to it. But you look here, we lost this pivot point right here, and the big red candle when it dropped down came down to, this was yesterday's high. We started to kind of held that. Yesterday's high was right about the same level as the 200 simple moving average. We got down close to that, and we kind of bounced a little bit. We bounced right back up to this pivot point, but couldn't break it. That's when we came back down. We lost this pivot point, came all the way down to this pivot, and we held that pivot. Remember I talked about pivots as being support and resistance. You see how important these pivots are. That's why I really like them. They seem to hold better than the moving averages do. You see this candle came down, it got right to that pivot and bounced back up, even though the next candle we lost it. But that pivot did still have some meaning there. You see right here, the pivot, this red dotted line, dashed line is the pivot. We bounced back up, got right to that pivot and stopped. We came down here, we held this pivot for a little while, and once we lost it, it came down to the next pivot, held right at that pivot. Came over here, broke through that pivot, up almost to this next pivot. We're kind of riding that pivot now. Another strategy is the 310 EMA cross, and that's why I have the 3 and 10 EMAs up. You look right here, we had a 310 EMA cross to the downside, which is what this little spike indicates. We had a 310 EMA cross to the downside, and look what happens. If you would have entered right here, this is your signal. You enter here, that would have been a really nice put trade. You see over here we crossed to the upside, and we crossed right at about a pivot point. That would have been a nice trade to the upside. If you would have got in right here at this candle, which was above the pivot point after a 310 cross, you could have rode that for 12.20 to almost an hour. You could have rode that almost an hour. And that move there, I'd say 279.34, 279.88. That probably would have been a good 15% win, depending on how far out options you played. You see we're crossing back to the downside here. But yeah, I like my pivot points. It's one of my favorite indicators, or not an indicator, but favorite settings. So what else can we talk about here? Like I said, check out the Traders Council. It's something, if anything, the education in there is, it's just something you'll never, you'll be able to take that with you forever, whether you stay there or go somewhere else. A lot of people that started out in there, they used to start out trying to mirror what other people did, and a lot of the traders in there, they find their own trades, and actually some of the moderators will even follow member trades now. There's 340 people in there right now, and very active chat room. Jeff and Davis, when they enter or exit, they send out a text and an email on their alerts. Plus, it's put up on a screen on a computer. Davis is more of a an in and out kind of guy, kind of like me. Usually 5-10 minutes max, and he's out. Occasionally he'll do swing trade, but not too often. And it's always options. Jeff's specialty. Jeff buys low price stocks at the end of the day, holds them overnight, and you know, I'll tell you what he's done, but you probably won't believe me unless you see it. I've watched him. He's on his fourth go around now. I've been in there a little bit over a year. Um, his first time he started with $5,000, took it up to $25,000 in just a few months, and started over at 5,000 again. I think he took that one to 16,000 in about 2 months. Started over again at 5,000. He had that one up to about 49,000 in about 4 months, and then he had some bad trades. I think when he finally closed that account, he was at about 35 or 38,000. After, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, 6 months, and he started over again with $2,000. January, I think it was January 2nd. Started over with 2,000, and I think he was up to about, I think it was close to 5,000 a couple weeks ago. But I think he's hovering right around the $3,000 mark now. Just like everybody else, you have some bad trades. Um, but yeah, if you wouldn't see it, you probably wouldn't believe it. I've seen it. Um, I've followed a few of his trades. I'd rather stick with options. I don't like holding anything overnight, so I don't. I'm a very low risk trader, so I don't like holding anything overnight in my real account. So I don't really follow what he does, but I know a lot of people in the room do, and you see people posting and they're just killing it. Um, so let's see, back to some charts here. Um, you got your support and resistance. Like I said, that's the most critical thing. You definitely need to pay attention to support and resistance. Um, whatever you decide to use, it doesn't have to be what I use. Like I said, I really like pivots. I really rely heavily on pivots. Uh, they seem to. You can see it here. You see where it holds. These pivots just really hold. And let me show you something else. Um, I don't have a lot to talk about today because, like I said, I just got back in. I created some of my own. This is for the gap trades, or the gap, not the trades, but the gaps. I created my own. Declare lower. You see what I put here? This will put the spike, and I disabled these audible alerts because you remember the first couple videos I did, they would go off while I was talking, and they were pretty loud. So I disabled the audible alerts here, but they still show as the little spike in the chart in the graph. But this is all I put. I made this one myself. That's why I like Thinkorswim. You may be able to do this in E-Trade. I wasn't into doing this stuff when I was using E-Trade, but as far as I know, you don't have that ability. Thinkorswim is very customizable. But you see, really the gap down and the high is lower than the low from 1 bar ago, from the last candle. So if your high is lower than the low from one candle ago, it's a gap down. If the low is greater than the high from 1 bar ago, it's a gap up. Pretty simple. So that's what I have for my gap, and you see it right here, this little spike. You don't see it much during the day, during market hours, especially on SPY. You will see it on some other stuff. EMA 310 cross. I created this one myself. Plot EMA cross, moving average length 3, average exponential crosses, moving average length 10. And you're welcome if you want to copy these. I have no problem with that. I'm not the kind of person to say, hey, this is mine, you're not touching it. If it helps you, great. Go ahead and use it. I've shared it with a lot of people in the chat room. This one's a little bit trickier, and it's probably going to be too much for you to copy here. I may be able to. I don't know if I can put this in the comments section. This is the pivot points that I use. This is not included in Thinkorswim by default. I actually got these from another, it was actually a moderator in the chat room. I don't know where he got it, but he back tested it. He checked the formulas and he verified that they are right on, and works for me. I mean, you see how accurate they are. I don't know if I would be able to post this in the comments section or not. If anybody's interested, put a comment in there and I'll see what I can do. I'll try to get it in there. I know I've shared this with a lot of people in the chat room through email. We've emailed it back and forth. But I didn't create this one. I don't want to take responsibility for this one, or take credit, not responsibility. I don't want to take credit for it. I didn't create this. So, I don't get a pat on the back for this one. But whoever did it, wherever it came from, it's very good. I really like that one. You see, I have the 50. Some of these are or the boxes are unchecked, so they don't show them, but I have them up here. The 50, the 3 I do have up here. And if you want to get rid of one, just check this box. I unchecked both. I don't know if I think you can just uncheck one and it'll get rid of it, but I just unchecked both. 3 and the 10 I have up here. The 100 I have. The 200 I have. This is the daily open, and this is in here by default. It's over here. Daily open and daily high-low. They're in here by default. I didn't create those. It just puts a line on there just so you know. So you don't have to look back and see what the high or low was. The daily open, that's today's open. Daily high-low is yesterday's high and low. First hour breakout. I don't even know if I have that. Yeah, I have it lit up on there. I was something I was looking at. Kind of like a cheater type of a thing. I've never actually used it. If you look right here, this is a short entry signal. So what this is telling you, that they think you should short this right here. And yeah, it would have worked. Not the best entry, obviously, but it would have worked. You would have got in. You would have actually got in at this candle, the opening of this candle right here. Probably the best thing to do would have been waited for it to come back near this pivot. That would have been a perfect entry. But it's something I've played around with a little bit. See if we have any others. Here's one here. This is a long entry. It's telling you to go long right here. So you would have got in right here. And this would have been a good entry because it's right near moving average. I don't know if there was a pivot there or not, but there was a moving average there. That would have been a good entry. And this is telling you that exit's here, but obviously if you're trading options, you're not going to exit here at 4:25 p.m. It's not bad. It's this is telling you to short here. Well, you would have entered right here, and this wouldn't have worked out too well. Yeah, eventually you would have got here. You might have been up a few pennies, but with the time decay, your theta, you would have been lucky to get a couple percent. Maybe by the end of the day, remember it trades till 4:15, so maybe by the end of the day you could have got out down here, made a few bucks, a little bit of percentage there, but that's just something I have on there. I just never pulled it off of there. I'd never actually entered a trade or exited a trade because of it. It was just something I was just keeping an eye on. More or less one of those lazy things, just not wanting to read a chart. But I just wanted to see how accurate it was, so I just never took it off of there. But that's pretty much it. That's, like I said, that's pretty much what I have. You can go, like, if I wanted to modify this to say 510, I can come in here. I could just change this to 5. Go down here to apply, hit OK. Change the name up here to 510 cross. Hit apply, hit OK, and it would change it. If I wanted to create another one to say maybe 7 and 13, I could just come in here, copy, open up a new one, paste, change numbers. Um, to create one, you just come in here and hit create, and this is in here by default. Create, paste it in. In fact, let's for the heck of it, copy. Let's come in here, create, paste. I can just change this to say 7 and 13. Change the name up here to new 713 cross. Hit OK. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to have a bunch of extra stuff in here that's going to confuse me any more than I already get confused. But you have strategies over here. A lot of stuff to play around with. I've actually played around with just about everything in here. You see I created a lot of my own. MACD 15 cross to the long side. I created this one myself. Just playing around with them. I think this a 15-minute MACD cross to the upside. With the 7 and 15 settings, when it crosses above 0.03 and the close is greater than the open, so the close is higher than the previous candle, and the RSI is less than 55. It was just stuff I played around with. I said it's this is what I really like. I really like about. See, this one was a TD Ameritrade. This one was built in. I don't know if I can even edit this one. Not sure what this one even does. But that's what I liked about TD Ameritrade. It's so customizable. You can do whatever you want with it. Let's see what else I've created. The ones with a lock on them are by default. Usually the one that doesn't have a lock is something that I've created. So yeah, and a lot of these you just copy and paste from an existing one and just modify it. It's you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just, RSI futures. This was something I was playing around with when I was trading futures. I wasn't trading futures with TD Ameritrade. I was using Infinity Futures for that, but I was using the Thinkorswim charting when I was doing it. This was actually would automatically buy and sell for me. It would automatically buy it when the RSI crossed, or it would sell it when the RSI crossed below 70. Right here, overbought. When it would cross below 70, it would automatically sell, and it would automatically buy when it crossed above 30. And I had it set to automatically do it. I didn't have to touch anything. The only thing I did have to do is after it triggered, it would after it would trigger, I'd have to reset the alert so it would automatically do it. I couldn't make it. At least I couldn't figure out a way to make it repetitive to continue doing it over and over. I had to reset it every time it did it. It was just something I was playing around with. I did find I had some success with it. I had one. I don't remember which one it was now, but I had one that was pretty successful. I think for the year paper trading, it was up $50,000 trading one contract at a time. So yeah, it was doing good. I wasn't trading futures at the time. I didn't have a futures trading account at the time. It was after I stopped trading futures. I might get back into futures. I really like trading futures. I might get back into it. But the charting will still be the same. It won't be any different than what I look at now. But yeah, this one here is alerts RSI from one candle ago is above 34, and the MACD from one candle ago is greater than MACD value from one bar ago is greater than the MACD value from one bar ago. That doesn't make sense. I think it's supposed to be the MACD from one bar ago was higher than the MACD from 2 bars ago. That was something else I was playing with. I still have the spreadsheet from when I was doing that, from tracking it. But that's another thing. You want to keep a trade journal. Trade journal really helps. Keep a track of your trades, why you entered, why you exited, what went wrong, what went right, what you would do differently. Believe it or not, that helps. Definitely helps. I found that after 2 o'clock, I'm not very good. My odds go down after 2 o'clock. I found that if I enter based on a certain indicator, it doesn't work out too often. So the trade journal definitely helped, though. Paper trade and trade journal. It's 2 things I highly recommend. But that'll be it for this video. Yeah, I'm going to watch some charts. I don't know if I'll get into anything else. I see SPY starting to get a little pop here. We broke above that pivot point and moving average. That's the 100 simple moving average. So we popped above the 100 simple moving average and the pivot point, and the next resistance I see is today's open at 280.44. So we break 280.44, it'll be time to go test today's high, which is around 280.88. Yeah, 280.88. So if we break today's open, we got a chance to move 60 cents, 70 cents from where we're at now. That'd be a good, nice trade. In fact, you know what? I think I might go ahead and enter a paper trade on this. 36280 calls. Yeah, let's go ahead and do 4 of them. 4 of them. Let's try to get in $1.26. Okay, I'm in. I'm in at $1.26. So my stop will be closed below this pivot point. I'm going to try to sell half of them at right about at today's open at 280.40, or at 10%, whichever comes first. If I get to 10% before, I'm going to bring up this options chart on my other screen on my other computer so I can see where I'm at. And we're showing at 128 right now, so not really up by much yet. You can see actually I'm up $32, $44 now. It's at $1.34. We're getting real close to today's open, so we put an order in to sell 2 of them at about $1.34. Actually, we're higher than that. We're at $1.37. Let's go $1.38. Try to sell 2 of them at $1.38. My entry was at $1.23. So $1.36 would be 10%. Let me lower that to $1.36 just to get up. I don't know what that sold at. It moved on me. It jumped on me. It looks like $1.34, so that's good. That's about what I wanted. Actually, I wanted $1.36 to get that 10%, but okay. Some out of those are $1.34, so that's only $22, but I still have 2 left. It might go higher. It might come back down, but my break even is going to be at that $1.23. Now that I've sold half, I move my stop out to break even. My stop is not going to be below that pivot. If I stop out below the pivot, I might end up with 0 profit. I don't want to do that. I want to lock in profit. So if I keep my stop out at break even, I'm going to make money on this trade no matter what. So it's going to be a long video. Didn't think it would be a long video because I didn't have much to talk about because I wasn't watching charts, but ended up seeing an opportunity to jump in a trade here. And I even got in that trade a little bit late because I didn't see it till the very end, or didn't see it till late. If we break above this today's open, I'm going to be selling one more, probably around the depends on the momentum, but probably around the 280.70 level. And at that point, I'll probably move my stop up a little bit from break even and see what that last one does. So let's break that, break today's open. And we're up right now. If I sold the other two, I'd be up $52 for the day on that, just on that trade. You see I made 199 on the overnighter and up 53 on this one. So for SPY, I'm up $252. Not a bad day. I like trading SPY. Except for when news comes out. That's burned me too many times this year. Just had really bad luck with news lately. So, yeah, this was near the top of the Bollinger Band, but there were too many positives that I saw. Top of the Bollinger Band is not the best place to buy, but when you see the Bollinger Band start to open up, we had some consolidation right here. The Bollinger Band's tightened up. They started to open up, and we broke pivot point and the 100 simple moving average. Those are pretty strong. When you break those levels, that's pretty bullish. Means people are pretty interested in buying these. So you got a pretty good chance of getting a nice little pop. Let's see. I'll try to hold on. Hopefully, I don't get yelled at from YouTube for this being too long and have to start over. But I think it's exciting. I think it's worth sticking around to watch the end of this trade and see where it goes. Went to the barber shop today, and kid that was cutting my hair, I talked to him a while back, mentioned about trading. He told me today, he said, hey, he said, I took your advice, and he said, I opened up a trading account. I said, oh, wow, cool. And he's not managing it himself, but I don't know what type of account it is, but he opened up an account with one of the major investment firms. Kid's only, I don't know, 25 maybe. So, hey, that's good. Good for him. I hope he does well with it. He's letting them manage it. He doesn't know much about trading. But good for him. So, I wish I knew about this stuff when I was 25. So, come on. A little more push. This should be quite a bit of resistance here. It's going to be tough to break over today's open. We may even see a pullback before we break over it. You see that last candle, how small the body is compared to the one before that. So we're definitely losing momentum. Now, if we break this, we might get a big candle here. We might end up with a bigger candle here if we break this. So, I don't know if you can hear my dog in the background. He's crying because his toy went behind something. But he sits here in my office with me. I'm going to teach him how to trade so I can sleep while he does it. So, I'm going to stop this recording and start it over like I did yesterday, just in case. I'll start it back up right away.